mic on while I said mute your mic. I'm just going to remove you so that you don't disturb even in future. Because it's time consuming for me to mute your mics while you can do that on your own that side. So you understood slide number 4, isn't it? You can make an indication in the chat box. I will be able to see that. Did you understand the 4th slide? What microeconomics is all about? Dealing with the price determination. Why it's called the price determination or the price theory. Okay, thank you. I can see everyone is happy. Everyone is moving in the same pace with us. So we are continuing. We are moving on to slide number 5. We are almost done. We'll be going through the assignment questions together. So you'll be giving me answers, more especially to most of the things we have already touched upon. Now we have another branch of economics. Remember, there are only 2 branches of economics, the micro and the macroeconomics. So we have already touched on the microeconomics, which deals with the individual part of the economy, deals with the individual participant of the economy. You disable your mic because I don't want to remove you from the session because you are disturbing as you talk that side while we are also talking. Not only are you disturbing me, but you are also disturbing other students. So you are not first years, you are able to disable your mics. If it was first entering students, I was going to understand. So I was teaching you last year, even this year, my assumption is that you know how to use this platform. I am continuing. Macroeconomics focuses on the economy as a whole. It focuses on the economy in its holistic manner. What it means is that here we won't be talking about the individual part. We won't be looking at my household. We won't be looking at your household. People whose mics are on, you want me to mute them for you. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to remove you. You have to mute your mics on your own that side.
Oh, certainly.
And remember, once I remove you, you won't be able to join. The link will tell you that you were removed from the session. We shall see you in the next session where we'll be looking at chapter 2. So macroeconomics focuses on the economy as a whole. What they are trying to say is that it looks at the economy at a bigger picture. We are no longer looking at your household only. We are no longer looking at one retail store. We are looking at the total firms or the total household. We are looking at the aggregate demand and the aggregate supply. In macroeconomics, we look at the totalized household behavior and also the totalized firm behavior or business behavior. That is macroeconomics. And this one deals with the booms and recession in the economy. When we talk about the booms, we talk about the economic situation whereby the economy will be performing exceptionally well. When do we say the economy is performing exceptionally well? That will be at a point whereby in the economy, the standard of living of people is improved, it's very high. Their income levels are very high. The inflation rates are very low, which means we might be having inflation. And then we also have the lower unemployment rate. So in that case, we will say we have the boom. And then if we have the recession, last year and earlier this year, our economy was in recession due to the implications or due to the repercussions of COVID-19. Many people were introduced to lockdown. I mean to say the country was introduced to a national lockdown, meaning that most of the economic activities were barred from taking place. Farmers were not allowed to operate to their maximum capacity. And people were forced to adhere to the health protocols such as regular hand sanitizing, social distancing observation, and also the wearing of masks. Imagine you are in a farm, plowing, irrigating, weeding, and fertilizing, doing all those economic agricultural activities with your mask on. You won't be productive at all. So the economy was in recession and it's now trying to recover. So when we were saying it was in recession, that was because many people were unemployed. There was a high unemployment rate, and then the people were in poverty. They were facing stark poverty, and then the income levels of people were very low. Hence, their standard of living was hampered. Their standard of living was very low. Even now, we still have people who were retrenched by their employers or by their various firms because of COVID-19. That is what led to recession. And then economic, we will be having stagflation, which is the simultaneous increase in the unemployment rate and also the inflation. When we talk about inflation, we talk about the general increase in prices of goods and services. After tomorrow or after today, the prices of petrol are expected to rise. And the prices of goods and services will also rise because production depends heavily on petrol. For us to get the inputs, they must be transported from somewhere to our place. And that influences the cost we are going to incur in the production process. So for us to counteract those higher costs, we are going to increase the prices of goods and services as well. Meaning that at the end, we as consumers will suffer. The cost of living will be high. Those who don't have income at all will not afford. Hence, they will still face poverty. Others are still unemployed. So that is macroeconomics. We look at the economy at a bigger picture. We look at the whole or the aggregated demand. The word aggregated means totalized or summed up. So aggregate is the same as total. From today onwards, you can start using aggregate. If you want to say, I got total in the test, it means you got an aggregate of that test. You got a total in that test. So it deals with the aggregated demand. We are no longer saying, okay, Tumelo's household or Tumelo's family demand 5 tomatoes monthly. We are not doing that. We look at the aggregated demand. What my family demands, what your family demands, and what other families demand. We will add all those demands and then get aggregated demand. Then in that case, we'll be making a macroeconomic analysis, and it falls under macroeconomics. We have supply, we'll be looking at the supply from different suppliers within the economy. So we are having, in all cases, Cheryl, it means that people, we will be looking at what ShopRite is able to supply, the quantity that ShopRite is able to supply, what the quantity that Boxer is able to supply, what Woolworths is able to supply, and all other suppliers in the economy. We are looking at the GDP. That is macroeconomics. It deals with the aggregated demand and the aggregated supply. in the economy. So you will read through this. It's just a summary of what I was explaining. We are almost done. How many slides are we left with? We are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are left with 6 of them. Then the rest I won't touch on them because they are just teaching you how to plot graphs, how to explain them, and so forth. So I'm not going to teach you that. It's the responsibility of your primary teacher. Now, how do we study economics? There are 2 approaches of studying. There are 2 approaches of studying economics. The first approach is positive economy. Positive economy is the first approach that economists use to study economics. So the positive economics explains how an economy operates. It's how an economy operates, not how an economy should operate. It's just how the economy operates, meaning that this is a factual thing. It's an objective thing, not a subjective one. So it deals with the statement of facts and it can be proved. So that is positive economics. And in the test or in the exam, they will ask you to differentiate between the 2. Give me
Please mute your mic.
I'm gonna remove them very soon. I have been trying to mute their mics. I have counted how many times I have muted a person. So if I did that more than twice, I'm not going to do it again. I'm just gonna remove you. Then you will join us in the next session. Positive economics, I'm giving an example. We are saying South Africa, in South Africa, the prices of petrol will rise from tomorrow. This is a factual statement because it is what we already know. We were also told, and they made an economic analysis. They made an economic analysis, meaning that they have their speculations or their reasons behind increasing the prices of petrol is valid. It's justified, and it's a fact. It's not an opinion because it's something that's going to happen tomorrow. Let me give you another example that you can relate with. Because of lockdown last year, many people, because of many economic activities being barred from being performed, the economic performance has stagnated or has become stagnant. This is a fact. It is something that can be proved because it's what has happened. People lost their jobs, prices of goods and services went extremely higher, and then the income at household level were decreased because people were unemployed. The standard of living of people was hampered, it was low, and etc. It's a fact. It can be proved. And then the second type of an approach to studying economics is normative economics. Normative economics explains how an economy should operate. It explains the value judgment, or it deals with the value judgment or an opinion. For example, now I can say women are major contributors in the economic activities, or women are very important towards the economic growth of the country. That is what I think. It's not true. It's my opinion. I think women contribute greatly to the economic growth. It's my opinion. So normative economics deals with the judgment. It deals with opinions, and an opinion can be falsified. So these are the approaches to economics. Positive economics deals with facts. These are the facts. The GDP of the country has dropped in the fourth quarter. It's true. It's what we have seen. Even if you go to the net, you check the statistics, you will see that the GDP has decreased from 2020 to 2021. So it's a fact. Then an opinion is when you start thinking, okay, for this economy to grow, we must empower women. That is an opinion. Okay? So we are continuing to the next slide. Don't give those examples of saying, my economics lecturer is Prof. JJ. That one is not an economic, is not an economic example. I know someone gave you an example which was in no way related to economics. If you give that example in the test, you'll be marked wrong. Use an example that is related to agriculture or related to economics. Same applies to economics. You can't say, I think if we do what? I think if we all study, we will pass the module. How economic is that example? How does that example contribute to the economy? So you will be marked wrong if you give irrelevant examples. Even if someone who's teaching you, maybe a mentor, a tutor, or a lecturer, uses an example which is in no way related to economics or agriculture, when it comes to marking, you get it wrong. We use practical examples that are pertinent to the course. Now, this brings us to the concept of scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. So we have wants. Wants are just human desires. These are what people desire to have. What people wants are things that we can live without. They are not necessary for life. These are things that we desire. You desire to have Mercedes-Benz one day. You desire to live or to stay in a big mansion one day. You desire to be the highly reputable man or woman in your community one day. That is a want. You can live without those. It's just what you desire. Needs are necessities. And if you write these things the way they are in the test or in the exam, you will get it wrong. Don't say, if they say differentiate between wants and needs, and you say wants are human desire, you will get it wrong. You have to explain, what do they mean when they say human desire? They mean that these are things that people wish to have, but they are not necessary for life. Whereas needs are things that people cannot live without. These are things that are necessary for life. And then we have demand. Demand are wants but backed by necessary means to buy. What they are trying to say here is that for us to say you are demanding a certain product, you must be willing to have that particular product, and at the same time, you must have the means to get that particular product, meaning you must have money to have that particular product. So if now I say, I demand tomatoes, by mere saying I demand tomatoes, as an economist, you must know that it means that I have money and I'm also willing to have those tomatoes. That means I'm demanding. Demanding is not the same as you wanting that particular product. Do we have people who demand cars in here, in this class? Those who demand cars, enable your mics and tell me it's myself, or type in the chat room so that I can see you that, okay, this one demands a car. Do you guys demand a car? Am I still on the line? Says Level says no, and then says Chiro says no, not yet. Ngobeni Trust says no. Others, some others say no. Okay, you don't want to own a car. Or you want a car. Buti Tabang says he demands a car. Buti Tabang.
Now we don't demand it, it's still a want.
It's still a want, ne? Let me hear from Buti Tabang. That demand is also a want. So Buti Tabang says, who else? Miss M.E. Machine. Yeah, I have seen that you also demand a car. Did you say you demand a car? Let me check again. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I will hear from Buti Tabang and says Mashile. Okay. Buti Tabang, explain to me, why are you saying you demand a car? Enable your mic. Okay. He doesn't want to enable the mic. He wrote something in the chat box. He says it is still a want. Hey, isn't it that here they are saying, look at the definition of a demand here. They are saying a demand is a want. So it means that you might be right to say you demand a car because a demand is a want. Do you still demand a car? Those who are saying they demand cars, I'm noting you. Once I see you driving cars one day, I will take you to court because this session is being recorded now because you are lying to me. Do we have those who are demanding cars? Okay, what is it that you demand? Type any product that you demand in the chat box, or you can enable the mic and tell me that I demand this particular product. Okay, while you are still trying to think around it, if you say you demand a car, meaning that you have money to afford that particular car. You cannot just go to the market and say, you will hear people at ShopRite saying, I demand this Mercedes Benz. And by that time, that person doesn't have even a cent in their pocket. That is not a demand. We say you demand something if you are willing to have it and at the same time, you have money to have that particular product. So it's demand. Demand is willing to have something and being able, in terms of having money, to have that particular product. So that is demand. So from today onward, never insult your intelligence in public by saying, I demand this. We demand when we are willing and able to have that thing that we say we demand. We must have money to have that particular thing. We are moving. And now we have scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. Before we go there, I had to explain this topic here. Scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. Scarcity. When we say something is in scarcity or something is scarce, what will we be implying? We will be implying that that thing, that particular thing, is not enough to be used in the production process. Scarcity takes place or is seen when a particular resource is not enough to be used in the production process. Let me give you an example. You have a glass of water here, and then this glass of water, you can see it. It has water, right? This is water inside that glass. With this water, you want to do three things. The first thing is to bath. The second one is to cook. Ne? The third one is to water your crops. So, with this glass of water, this volume of water that is not even filled to the brim, you want to do all these three things. You want to water a 5 hectare plot. Will you manage to water a 5 hectare plot with this, half a glass of water? Will you be able to do this? Will you be able to do that? You won't be able, you will be able to do that, but you will not cover the whole 5 hectares area because that water is not enough. Meaning that in this case, this water is not enough to be used in the production process. Ne? So you also want to make, C stands for what? Cook. You want to cook a pap with this water. You might cook water with this pap. I mean to say you might cook a pap with this water, but it won't be enough to cater for all the things that you want to do with this water. In that case, we'll say water is scarce. You cannot do all these three things with the same volume of water. So because of scarcity, you will have to make choices. Ne? So we are saying scarcity takes place when the resources are not enough to be used in the production process. We want to cook, we want to bath, we want to water our crops with this level of water. And it's not enough to be used in the production process. In that case, we say it's scarce. So I hope you understand that. Another example, you go to the university, you go to the premises of the institution, you were attending your classes. Let me say you were attending at what? TC. You used to attend your biological S-bio classes at TC. Ne? So that venue can only cater for not more than 800 students, right? So if now we were to bring 1,000 students, were they gonna fill that that capacity? They were gonna fill it, ne? But there was gonna be a shortage of seats, meaning that those seats are not enough to be used in the production process. And in that case, we will say those seats are scarce. So that is scarcity. Because of scarcity, you will be forced to make choices. Now, you have three choices. With this water, you want to bath, you want to cook, and you want to water your crops. But because this water is scarce, you have to make choices. Should I use this water to water my crops? Or should I use it to cook? Or I should use it to bath? Or I should use maybe 1/3 or 1/3 to bath and 1/3 to cook and 1/3 to water? Or should I just divide it in any proportionate or in any proportion to cover all these activities. Those will be your choices. The choice is yours. And it comes as a result of what? Of scarcity. You make choices because of scarcity. You are in your rooms now. You are wherever you are now. You made choices. Someone was supposed to meet with his girlfriend. The other one was supposed to meet with her boyfriend. The other one was supposed to go to a soccer field to practice soccer. The other one was supposed to just use the data to watch YouTube videos. But because time is precious and it's scarce, that person, you guys, had to make choices. And by mere making choices, you have incurred opportunity cost. Meaning that if you are now saying, of all the options I have, I opt to go for attending this session. Once you attend my session, you are missing out on other activities that were available for you, or on other options that were available for you. You were supposed to be watching videos on YouTube. You are missing out on YouTube. So that loss is called opportunity cost. Whatever you are losing from making choices is an opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refer to the value of the best forgone opportunity. It refers to the cost, to the alternative that was available for being chosen, but wasn't chosen. So the other one was supposed to be spending his time with his girlfriend, but he did not. The girlfriend is fuming as we speak. And the girlfriend is fuming because of the choices that were made by this boyfriend who is attending the session now. And the boyfriend did not have choice, another choice, to attend to all this at the same time. He had to sacrifice. He sacrificed a time for the girlfriend by coming to this one. Are we together? So that is opportunity cost. And they will always move like this. Scarcity leads to choices. Choices lead to opportunity cost, not vice versa. So we are continuing. I have explained what scarcity means, meaning you will be able to understand what a scarce resource is. So a resource is scarce when its quantity that is available to us is not enough to be used in the production process. I used water as my example. So limited resource occurs when the available resources are finite in quantity. Look at this glass of mine again. It's very beautiful. Can you see? So let's say this glass of mine can carry up to 1 liter of water. Let me see, there's something in the chat box. Okay. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the best forgone opportunity. You were supposed to bath, but you made a choice of coming to my class. Meaning that opportunity cost in that case will be losing bathing. You are missing out on bathing. You would be enjoying your warm bath now, but because of choices, because of scarce resources, you had to come to my session. So that is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the loss to the alternative that was available for you and was available for being chosen, but wasn't chosen. It's a loss. Is it clear? So now explaining the limited resource again. This glass of ours is a resource. Ne? The glass, thank you, Booty Brilliant or Sesnandi. I'm not sure if it's Booty or Sexy, but I have used any of those. Don't feel offended. This glass of mine is a resource. Ne? So in terms of it being limited, means that it is finite in quantity. Ne? So this glass of water can only carry up to 1 liter. 1 liter of water. 1 liter of water. Meaning that you cannot pour more than what this glass can hold. Therefore, this makes this glass to be a limited resource because its quantity is finite. It has an end point. It has limitations. So I'm giving an example with what? With the room you are in now. Or let me use a piece of land. This is your land. It's 5 hectares, right? You want to produce crops here, and you can only produce a maximum of 300 crops on this piece of land. And then you see that in the market now, the prices have increased. You decide to say, okay, the prices have increased, therefore, let me take advantage of the prices by increasing the quantity I am producing. And you say, I want to produce more than 300. That will not be possible because this piece of land can only carry up to 300 crops. You cannot carry more than 300 crops. Therefore, in this case, this land is a limited resource. It is limited in a sense that it is finite in number. Its quantity can end. It can terminate. It has boundary. So in your place, you have built a house. Ne? You cannot build a house that is bigger than the piece of land that is allocated to your family. You cannot go to your neighbors and say, I want to extend my house, give me this space. That land that you are staying in is limited. Okay? So we are left with less than 1 minute. We'll leave the session and join back. Then we'll be explaining opportunity cost. We'll be answering question number 1.2, if not mistaken, of your assignment. Any question while we are waiting to be kicked out? Did you understand scarcity and limited resources? Did you guys understand?